Okay, so we got a further diagnosis of the Farmmac 372 piston and cylinder. First up here, there's the piston. And you'll see that the skirt is pretty fine. You know, it's nothing, no big deal. No big deal. But at the crown, all the way around, it is scarred up significantly. Why is that? All the way around. I'm not 100% sure what caused that, but I can see and feel up in there. It looks like the squish has been cut. Maybe it hasn't, I don't know, but possibly the edge of the chrome plating or Nicosil plating, whatever it is, possibly that edge got really sharp, and as the piston went up and down in there, it scarred up the top of the piston, possibly, I don't know, possibly bringing some of that material. Look at that, you can see that line right there. You can see all the way up in there that large cutaway of the liner. Possibly that liner had rough edges to it, and those rough edges transferred onto the piston. And anyways, but that's no big problem. I should be able to just put in a new piston, right? Because now, at this point, you know, maybe it got all those hard edges off. But the problem is, now this right here is your intake side. We had a lot of scoring right there. Yeah, I can't really, it doesn't really come off on camera. But those grooves are deep. Now, could I actually use this cylinder, just put a new piston in or whatever? Yeah, it would probably last for a long time. But I'm looking to make power. And every one of those little lines, and they're all the way around. They're all over. Every one of those little lines are leaks. You know, those are leaks. Not to mention, look at that casting on that. On those transfers. Look how bad it is on this side. See, look at that little notch on the one to the right. Look at that. So this goes down in Bodie's history, which I'll admit isn't that deep, you know, but this goes down. It's definitely the very worst cylinder I've ever seen that wasn't ruined due to air leaks and things like of that nature. But yeah, that's a problem. And it says B&B Italy. This wasn't casted in Italy. I don't think. So this is trash. That's where it's going. Trash can. Next problem up, the intake boot was ripped. And it was shoved on in a funky way, giving it a D shape, because it was smushed like that in that area. So bad cylinder and or piston, right? Bad top end, boom, right out the gate. Bad intake boot, right out the gate. No good. And the carburetor, bad, right out the gate. You know, they say it's supposed to come with a Walbro. It didn't in my case for sure. But even the ones that say Walbro right on them, I have complete belief, 100% belief that they are not Walbro. I can't prove this, but they don't perform like a Walbro does. So And we know, I mean, the Chinese, they don't mind one bit. It's cultural to them. They're like, what are you talking about copyright? They don't even recognize any of that stuff. So is it is it a possibility that they have an aftermarket carb and they literally went ahead and embossed Walbro onto the top of it? Yes, absolutely. They're cloning the entire saw. Why would they stop at the freaking carburetor? So it's, yeah, I don't think that the carburetors that are being put on are Walbro at all. And now I know I've had some viewers say Walbro, a lot of their carbs are being made in China. There's a lot of confusion with Chinese products and their quality level, and people think that the Chinese can't make good stuff. That's not it. That is not it at all. What it is a company going, wait a minute, you can give me this carburetor for $2 and this carburetor for 75 cents? I'll choose the 75-cent one. So what we see, like a prime example of that is the Duke, right? Now, I don't know where the Duke pistons are made. I don't know. But let's assume that they're made in China. I've used the Duke pistons at this point a good bit, and they're fine. They're good quality. Well, that's because the person who ordered the Duke pistons from this Chinese manufacturer might be the exact same manufacturer that produces this piston. But the people ordering the Duke is like, no, we want higher tolerances. We want this. And the Chinese company says, okay, well, that's going to cost you $0.25 more or $1 more per piston. And the Dukes goes, that's fine, but I want the quality. Whereas another company, and I'm just throwing out names here, okay? I'm not claiming anything, but another company such as Highway might be saying, oh no, man, I want to make the extra $1 per piston, so I'm fine with a little bit of shady tolerances. And so the Chinese, they completely have the ability to manufacture very high-end products. It's just whenever resellers, because that's all they are, resellers are placing an order, they're choosing to go with a lower standard in order to have a cheaper part that they can make more profit off of. And that's it. So I've heard rumors, really is all there is, I think, that a lot of the Meteor piston and cylinder setups at this point are starting to go with Chinese manufacturers. And we're just going to see more and more and more and more and more of that. And you can refuse to buy them if you want to, but the whole of the world is deciding to go ahead and have stuff made there. Most all of your Stihl and Husqvarna chainsaws, now all of the parts are manufactured in China. You know, even the good ones, even the good stuff, you know. So it's just they're choosing to be more strict with their quality control, and therefore it's a more expensive part. But what we get caught up in a lot of the times is people see a cylinder like this and they go, Chinese junk, right? Well, Chinese can make good stuff, and they do make good stuff. It's just that ain't one of them. And you got to know which manufacturer to order from. I am going to go online pretty much, I guess, right now, and I'm going to see if Dukes has a piston and cylinder set up for this 372, and I'll order from them. I've used Highway before, and their stuff's pretty good. You know, those Titanical cylinders, if you're not going to port and polish them, the fit and finish on those are fantastic. They really are nice. But as soon as you start porting and polishing on them, that liner is so hard, they flake like crazy. And if we were allowed to run an OEM cylinder, I'd be running an OEM cylinder on this saw. But we're not allowed that. I'd probably still go with the Duke's piston, though, because the Duke's piston or Meteor piston, Meteor and Duke both have fantastic pistons, and I wouldn't hesitate to use one of them in place of an OEM piston or instead of, you know, I mean, like, they're good stuff. So, kind of a bummer. Kind of a bummer that I'm not going to be able to build this for hopper stock, but it is what it is. And, you know, I'll get the parts ordered, and we'll get this thing to scream.